This is AHMED for IFL TV in association with MTK Global in the BT Sports Studio today in London for the Wilder Fury press tour. With me is Stephen Espinoza. Welcome to the UK, Stephen. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy to be back here.
Yeah, a lively press conference there.
Yeah, it was. Everyone got their money's worth out of this one.
Sure. Do you believe these are the two best heavyweights fighting each other, December the 1st?
I do believe so. I mean, certainly Anthony Joshua has his own argument to make, and I don't think anybody would argue that those are the top three. But here you've got a really intriguing matchup. You have your classic heavyweight puncher against who, for my money, the most skilled boxer in the heavyweight division, and really one of the most skilled boxers in boxing as a whole. I think people underestimate the risk here for Deontay Wilder. I think people look at Tyson Fury and say, well, he was inactive, he's only had 2 fights back, and think it's maybe an easier fight than Deontay than it really is. This is not an easy fight by any means. I think there is significant risk. I think it's a 50-50 fight because Fury presents a unique set of challenges. He is the most skilled boxer. You do not see men of 6'9" and his weight move the way he does. He's a unique athlete, and that's going to present a big challenge for Deontay.
Are you saying you can't really prepare for someone like Tyson Fury then?
There really is nobody else. Certainly at heavyweight, but there's not. He's one of the most skilled heavyweights, I think, in boxing history. I know that's saying a lot, but if you look at the way he moves and his defensive prowess and his skill set, I think it's a defensible position. He is a uniquely skilled heavyweight boxer.
From Showtime's perspective, how happy are they to be putting this fight on?
We're thrilled. There is a special cachet that goes with heavyweight boxing, and there's a buzz both in the U.S. and worldwide that doesn't quite exist on most other big title fights. But here, not only do we have a big heavyweight title fight, a meaningful fight, you have two very marketable, charismatic, and witty participants. So it's not every fight that you have two sellable, relatable, marketable fighters. And here you've got two of the most likable guys, across the entire sport. So we have a treasure trove here. It really is a treat to be involved in an event like this.
Sure. Now, talking about another heavyweight, Anthony Joshua, did you watch his fight against Alexander Povetkin the other night?
I did see it.
Yeah, and what was your sort of thoughts on it?
It went about like I thought. Povetkin is a very skilled boxer as well, a great amateur pedigree, but is much smaller. So he did have success early, but I think ultimately the size and the strength and the punching power of Joshua eventually won out.
Now, Matchroom have April the 13th booked at Wembley Stadium for Anthony Joshua. Do you think they will fight the winner of this fight?
Remains to be seen. I think if Eddie means what he says, I think it is unlikely because if he truly means that a contract for the April 13th fight must be signed before December 1, I don't think either Wilder or Fury is keen to negotiate and sign a deal before they fight. So if Eddie is true to his word, I think that is a big challenge. But having said that, I think there will be tremendous pressure from the public, from boxing fans around the world, for the winner of Wilder Fury to match up with Anthony Joshua as soon as possible. So whether it's April or the first fight after that, I do think that there will be tremendous momentum toward doing that, and I think I'm optimistic that fight could happen before the end of 19.
I don't know if you've seen a recent interview that Barry Hearn did, said that he wouldn't mind if Joshua didn't fight Wilder in the next 2 years or next 2 or 3 years, basically. What do you make of that comment?
I think, look, as a promoter, I think part of his job from the business perspective is to make as much money for his fighter and do the biggest events with the least risk. And what I took it when I had heard Barry saying that is, that's from a business perspective what he would like to see happen. Having said that, there is ego involved, there is legacy involved, there are emotions involved, both on promoters and on the fighter side. So, that would probably be the wisest course to do it, but that's not the Anthony Joshua that I know. The Anthony Joshua that I know, and I know him a little bit, I wouldn't say I know him well, is somebody who seeks out challenges. So I don't think that he's going to be running from the matchup of the winner of this fight, be Wilder or Fury. There are business discussions which have to take place, and sometimes those are complex. But I don't think you'll see Anthony Joshua fighting 2 or 3 years before having a big unification fight. I just don't see that in the cards.
How much respect do you have for sort of Deontay and Tyson taking this challenge, both of them?
You've got to give them both credit. There is, relatively speaking, this was a very easy fight to make.
Okay.
And there is risk for both of them. There's risk in Tyson Fury on not taking another couple of
Comeback fights, yeah.
And there is certainly risk in Wilder. Wilder believes, as he does, that Joshua is going to come to the table sooner or later. Then this fight presents a lot of risk. No one has quite figured out Tyson Fury yet. And we all know what Deontay's strengths are, which is his punching power. He is not as skilled a boxer as Tyson Fury is. So there is the challenge, and there is a lot of risk in this fight, and there would be sort of severe repercussions in terms of who gets the Joshua fight, depending on the outcome.
Sure. Just lastly, Stephen, I just want to ask you about sort of your reaction to HBO pulling out of boxing.
It was a bit of a surprise, not a complete surprise, but it was surprising how and when it happened. And I think for fans, including myself, it's sad to see that chapter of boxing history end. But I'm not sure that a whole lot changes within the sport. There are a lot of networks here in the UK, a lot of networks in the US that are very passionate about the sport. There's no question in my mind that there remains significant interest in the sport, and there are significant opportunities. That's why we're seeing new networks getting in. So the one thing I would take issue with is sort of the characterization in maybe the suggestion in HBO's statements that there was a feeling that maybe the sport didn't have the momentum or didn't have the fan interest. I certainly don't know HBO's business and what their subscribers want. But from our perspective, our subscribers are as passionate and interested about boxing as they've ever been. It very much drives business for us, and we are going to be at the forefront of the sport, delivering the biggest fights we can.
Okay, Stephen, appreciate your time today. December 1st, BT Sport pay-per-view and Showtime in America. We look forward to it. Thank you very much.